Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's a trade of the day, Friday afternoon Zoom edition, and Bitcoin has survived a few dips briefly below the 30,000 level. That support seems to be holding, so I guess that's some good news. Let's look at the chart. Okay, that's not the chart. I want to look at the Bitcoin 1 hour. Yeah, I'm gonna move this. No, I'll leave this here for now. Can you see my Bitcoin 1 hour chart?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. All right, so here's multiple touches here in the past week or so, just below 30,000, but they don't seem to hold. I'm on an hour chart, as I said. So this one was the most severe at Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon at 5 p.m. Central, or where am I? Pacific. 5 p.m. Pacific, dropped down here and then bounced right back up again. We dipped below again around midnight, but I didn't even see this. So bounced back up again. And we're hanging at 30,300. We'll see if that holds over the weekend. If it does, I think that's a pretty good chance that we could bounce up into the 31s, 32s. I mean, we have been in the 31,000s a couple times in the past week or so. We can't seem to hold that either. So I've got this range here. And speaking of ranges, I did a more specific range on Ethereum. Let's go with the 4 hour. So I drew this because I've been doing some trading on this actually. And the low is down here in this box or rectangle, 1700. And then up here, it can't seem to push past 2000. It stalls up here around 1975, 1980, and then dips again. So I'm currently at 1869. It'll make another run at 1900, probably over the weekend or early this week or next week, and we'll see where it goes from there. See if we can get that July pump. Any comments or questions about the overall market? Okay, hearing some background noise. Let me address that real quick. Is that you, Craig? Yeah, I'm muting you for now. All right, let's look at, could be Frank, James. All right, that makes more sense. Sorry, Craig. All right, let's look at Altcoin Alert so we can find some day trades, some setups for tonight and the weekend. And let's take this chart and put it over here. And this one as well. All right, I just want these two charts. Altcoin Alert. Okay, I'm on the altcoin radar reading. I'm gonna refresh, get the most current data, sort by AA score. And here's some coins I've never traded coming up on the top list. Let's look at waves as the highest rank. I'm usually looking for values 80 and higher, and 76.9 is the best I can do today on the bullish trend. So let's see if we can look at that chart and see if we can find a trade to set up. Okay, 5-minute chart. And just kind of putzing around sideways. Not much between the Bollinger Bands and sitting at the SMA line, the least favorite setup that I'm looking for. Some short-term support here at 187 if you want to set a price alert. Right click, add an alert, crossing 187, and alert name, I usually use my information source, which is going to be my AA score purchase, and click create. And then if that hits, check out the chart and reevaluate. But as you know, I prefer alerts on the 15-minute chart using my indicators. So let's go over to that and reset this. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at is divergence. This is an indicator that shows a disagreement between other indicators and the price action. So I'm going to bring up bullish and bearish divergence. I trade on leverage usually, looking for a 1% move on the chart, a 10x leverage. That's a 10% trade. I love stacking up 10% trades throughout the day. If you're a spot trader, you don't have the experience to go to leverage, you're just trading spot, you're going to want to pay attention to what I talk about as far as long trades, or in this case, bullish divergence. So to give you an example, let's say this bullish divergence triggers on the 15-minute chart, and I see resistance in the recent past going back here to this level at about 195. So let's say I take this bearish divergence on a spot trade, it dips a little bit, maybe I take another position here, and then it goes above that prior resistance, which I would have used as a take profit. So pick up a 4.7% spot trade in about 12 hours. So that's a pretty good trade off bullish divergence. I use an auto trading software that manages these kind of trades for me, and the strategy I'm using most recently, every 2% of a move on the chart, it does another purchase. If it goes 10% against me, I'm out. I take the loss. So it's been working pretty well for me for the past few weeks, using both divergence and the SuperTrend, which we'll talk about in a moment. So looking at the most recent action on the divergence indicators, they look pretty good. These bullish ones did well. This bearish one, not so much. That probably would have been a loss. This one here, probably the same. So these two probably are losses for me. But this bearish one does really well. This bearish one does well. This bullish one's probably good enough. You can see it makes a 3% move. This one here looks a little iffy. But again, the way I trade, I would have picked up an additional purchase there and probably gotten out right about here with a small loss on my first position and a nice win on my second. And then these bearish or bullish ones did pretty well too. You know, got my 1% on each one of them. So the bullish ones were all profitable. Two bearish ones were potential losses. So I'm going to keep that in mind when I choose a strategy for this setup. So I'm going to turn this off. Turn on SuperTrend, which won't fire off as much, but you know, it trades with the trend, so it can be, when the market's going more like this, it can be more useful. And that buy obviously did well. This sell, yeah, makes a nice move down. This buy, I'm not sure. Check it real quick. Probably good enough for my purposes, and this sell did okay as well. So I like SuperTrend better than the divergence for this one. So I'm going to right click on divergence. SuperTrend alert. If you're trading spot, you're going to go with the buy alert. If you just want to short it, then you go with the sell. And what I usually use is a direction change. So each time the direction changes on my once per bar setting, I'm going to get an alert about that. That's an AA score. SuperTrend has changed direction. I'll look at my notifications. So it'll let me know in my app on my phone. It'll show a pop-up on my computer screen. Also play a sound on my computer screen. I like 3 notes reverb. That's the most pleasant of the sounds. Most of them are annoying. intentionally so. I click create, and now I've got that waves alert until I turn it off. And for what it's worth, I tend to turn off my alerts around 9 p.m.-ish. If I'm out and about with some friends and family, then maybe sooner. But yeah, I tend to keep my alerts on till 9. I trade from my recliner on my phone. So the last strategy to go over then is the RSI. Dips below the 30-minute and pumps above the 7 or 30 value and pumps above the 70. We will show those with my vertical line. And what's this doing over here? There's my vertical line. So right here on the RSI, we've got a dip below 30 and then a pump back up. So I would have been in here, and that's a great trade. On this one, we have a pump up and then a dip right about here. And this one goes against me. I think that's going to be a loss. No, maybe not. So it goes 7% against me, but it comes all the way down. So I'm going to have at least 3 additional purchases in my trading approach. What I call ladder buys or dollar cost averaging, and then it comes down, and I'm out probably around here. Another pump and dip here, and that's a nice move down. And another drop over here, shoots back up. I might still be in this trade theoretically. So yeah, right about here. Nope, I'd be out right about here with my 1%. So yeah, so all the RSIs worked. And the super trend works so far on this. So let me get rid of that. And here's how you set an alert on the RSI. If you want to trade spot and you're just looking for dips below the 30 and moves back up, you're going to go with crossing up 30 once per bar close, and the alert name. It's going to be AA score purchase. That's how I would do it. If you want to trade both directions, both the pump above the 70 and the dip, and the drop below the 30 and the retrace, you can go with we're going to enter a channel, entering a channel here, 70, 30, once per bar close, AA score purchase, and there you go. So, and then when you click create, you'll see a little rectangle here. Used to be a different color, now it's just white. Used to be yellow. So those are the 3 strategies I've been using for the past couple months. They've served me pretty well. I've been able to increase my balance, gradually, a few percent a week. That doesn't sound like much, but in this market, if you can build up trades consistently, wins consistently, keep the losses to a minimum, you can build your balance. So, any questions on the strategies I showed you with waves? All right, we will look at probably 2 or 3 more. I'll go a little faster this time, and we'll hopefully find some good stuff for the weekend. And we'll look at a couple of shorts too. Since volumes tend to be down more on the weekends, shorts can be the better play, generally speaking. Lots of exceptions. All right, so we looked at an AA score. I'm going to refresh again and look at some of the other potential sorts available to us. 1 hour projected range. I'm usually looking for values 3% or higher in the middle here. We don't have any of those. Market's been kind of quiet today. Another one I like is the long-term sentiment. Let's try this one. So what I like to do is match up the sentiment, which is what people are talking about online, the Twitter data. Match that up with the Elder Impulse Daily, which is a technical indicator. You can hover over these question marks and read more about those. And when these match up, it's usually worthy of further investigation. like on Ocean here, which is a coin I like to trade. We have bullish and bullish on both. Up 13% today. Might be too late to get into this, but if we look at shorts as well, maybe it's due for a retrace. Let's check it out. Okay, we're on the Ocean 5-minute chart. Has been trending up today. And currently sitting on the SMA line. Yeah, I don't like that. So let's go to the 15-minute chart. So divergence. Looks pretty good. All these bullish ones would have caught this move up. This one probably would have been a loss. Yeah, that would have been a loss. Well, maybe not. Get hit. No, that would have been a loss. So that's a bummer. But let's say you like what you see, and sometimes I just trade one direction when on divergence, like all the bullish ones did well. Obviously, since it's up 13%, that's the trend that's been happening. Though we haven't had a bullish divergence since last night. But add an alert. We're going to choose positive divergence detected once per bar close. And then this is going to be our long-term sentiment buy because that's a sort I did. So that's how you do that. If you just want to go.
Hey, CJ.
Yeah.
Well, you're right there. When you're talking about your trigger, once per bar close. Can you explain the differences in those? Because I've always done the opposite, or I've always done the once per bar as opposed to the once per bar close. Because I think, if I'm trading on a 15-minute, or if I'm trading on the 1 hour chart for that matter, would I not get the notification until the end of that bar? So let's
It's a
say
good.
it happens at the beginning of the hour. Would I
Yeah,
not get the notification until the end of the bar?
that's a good point. Once per bar will let you know when the occurrence happens during that specific, candle. So
Right.
like over here, maybe this triggers earlier than this, than what I'm talking. Then maybe this starts to go down here, and it triggers that divergence here, and you get a better entry. So that's possible. Why I don't do it that way, and it's really a trader's
That's what I
preference,
want to know.
is because things can repaint. What'll happen sometimes is the value will happen, it'll twitch and it'll flicker, and it'll look like that alert's going to trigger, and then it goes the opposite direction and goes away. So I'd rather be the most sure you can be usually is when it's once per bar close, because then it's more committed. However, this particular what I just explained to you happens more on other kind of indicators. This particular indicator does repaint when it gets more information, which is a little frustrating, which is why I use both the divergence, which is indicator friendly like this, and the second one, the non-repaint, which unfortunately is not indicator friendly, but doesn't repaint. And that was
Thank you.
probably clear as mud, but I hope it helped. I'd rather have the bar close and have that condition set as opposed to it being optional, which is essentially what happens when you go with the once per bar. So that's why I do it that way. But if you want to try to get in earlier, go with once per bar. Yeah, but I like the close. So if you want to trade this both directions, you'll have to do two separate alerts, one on positive and one on negative. So that's how that works. And so that's divergence. Let's look at SuperTrend. This sell from Wednesday did well. We have some choppiness here, but both eventually would have worked. Yeah, this one here dips and then shoots up. This one here shoots up and then dips. Both of those would have been profitable in my system. That sell looks good and this buy looks good. So all the super trends would have been profitable. Let's look at the RSI. And we've got a drop here and then a pump. That does really well. This one looks a little suspect. We got a pump here and then it, maybe that breaks through. This one obviously breaks through. And you're probably still in that trade if you went for a short. Or yeah, that would have been a loss for me. So, when I see that, and if I want to put an alert on this, I just do one direction. I don't do the entering the range. I forgot what that's called. Yeah, instead of entering the channel, I'll just have it crossing up. Like in that scenario, I would have had cross it up 30 because that dip did really well when it came back. And long-term sentiment, there you go. Okay, any questions on Ocean? Okay, let's look at maybe one or two more. Well, we sorted this for bullish. Let's sort it for bearish. Let's look for our short of the weekend. And it has to be on an exchange that you can trade on leverage. For me, it's usually Bybit and BitGet. And you need to do some sneakiness to get on those. If you want to trade leverage, if you're an American, you got to get on those exchanges can be difficult, but email me and I can let you know how to do that. I'm not seeing a match. Maybe flow. Is flow one I can trade? Yes. All right, let's look at flow for our short of the weekend. Okay, 5-minute chart. So instead of a 1, 2, 3 dip, we look for a 1, 2, 3 pump on the 5-minute. This is kind of sort of what we're looking for. Something that breaks above the Bollinger Band a couple times. But it hasn't really done any. Yeah, something like this. 1, 2, 3, actually 4. It's about a 5 pump and drops up a little bit and then big drop here. Sort of counterintuitive to try to look at it that way, but that's how it works on the short end. All right, let's look at indicators. Okay, all the bearish ones did well. This one dropped, this one dropped, that one dropped, this one dropped. So it looks really good. So I'm gonna right click here, add my alert. Negatives already selected, once per bar close, and long-term sentiment. And notification stays the same, remembers what I put last time, and click create. And there's my divergence indicator for a short. On SuperTrend, that one was not great, but it probably would have survived. Some money management. Yeah, it doesn't go to 10%. So I would have had I taken that trade, I would have been in and gotten out probably around here, after a day. So that's one bad sell alert. And then the others look pretty good. And I forgot to mention that when you're looking at something trend-based, you want to use additional indicators to confirm. So like this buy alert here, RSI confirms, but the squeeze momentum doesn't right away. So maybe I wait until I get that confirmation here. My entry isn't quite as good, but I feel better about it with the confirmation. That sell would have been confirmed. This buy would have been confirmed. And yeah, I'm not married to the RSI or squeeze momentum for these. You can try different different indicators for your confirmation for the super trend, and see what works best for you. Okay, so that's super trend, and then RSI. I think that one would have triggered, would have been a good one on that direction. This one would have been good. This one would have been good. And I don't know if that one doesn't quite make it. So yeah, at least in this market, I've done pretty well with all three of the strategies I've showed you. So hopefully, if you guys are using some version of this, you're having some success as well. Let's look at one more real quick. Let's look at one of my sorts that I haven't used in a while. Well, any questions on flow before we look at something different? All right, so we looked at the ones I like the most. Okay, let's do this. The 24-hour change. I talked about it before. You don't necessarily have to have a paid service like Altcoin Alert or iCoin Pro to find your trades. You can create a list, like you've seen on my charts, for whatever exchange you're using, put the ones in there you like the most and just sort those. That's one way to do it. You can sort by if I'm looking for a short, you might sort this way. Looking for a long, you sort this way. Or if you want to be contrarian, short things that have pumped, long things that have dropped. I do a little bit of it all. But since we have Altcoin Alert here, we'll just use its 24-hour change, sort that way, and we'll go the reverse since we're focusing on shorts earlier. Obviously, you can do this on the long side and maybe trade. We looked at Ocean already. Cream, something I traded earlier in the week. CRV as well. Solana has had a nice move. So these are all you can potentially look at for shorts, both as spot trades. I actually kept the Solana as the spot trade that I'm going to hold for a little while. And then day trades, getting that 2, 3, 4% move on the spot chart or using leverage. So I'm going to sort this, looking for a stinker, something to short. And I want it to have a negative value, and I want it to be something that I know I can trade. No, keep is not on there. Storage, I had some success with this earlier in the week, or maybe it was last week. Let's look at that one. I'm down 4, almost 5% today. Okay, 5 minutes. And drifting down a little bit, mostly sideways. Again, sitting at the SMA line, not doing much on the 5 minute. There's some short-term support right around here. Actually, I draw this. Been focusing more on ranges lately. Different color for that. Let's go with white. Drop that down a little bit. There we go. But we're pretty close to that. So, I mean, the top of this range is 35 cents. It's already at 35.4 almost. So maybe you go towards the bottom of the range, catch that, move down right at 35 cents, right click, set your alert, and then reevaluate on that. Okay, on the 15-minute chart, look at divergence. And we have this one just triggered a half an hour ago. OBV on balance value. It's not one of the more popular indicators, but that is currently bearish divergence. Might be something you want to check out. Not financial advice, of course. We don't have any bearish divergences in this since, Wednesday in the wee hours of the morning, but you could set an alert on that like I've showed you before. Let's see if we can find something better in SuperTrend. Yeah, actually getting better sell alerts in SuperTrend than Divergence. So right click on this instead of the buy, go with the sell. Once per bar close, and you're good. Then we'll look at RSI real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, so we'll look at longs as well since we're looking at the RSI. We've got a move above here. That would have been a win. Another one here. I think that would have been a win as well. Yeah, that's a win too. And this one, same thing, catches that move. Then maybe that would have triggered on the 70. Maybe you have to drop it down to 69. That's a nice move down. RSI looks pretty good so far. Another move here. Catch that move down. I don't think this would have caught this move. It's going sideways. So RSI looks really good. Of the three we looked at for storage, I think all our RSI looks the best. So, and again, let's say if you want to short this one, add an alert. We're gonna be crossing down. Usually on the 70. I think we had one that didn't quite make it that looked good. Maybe you go 69 or 68. That's about as usually 2 is the most I flex on that. Once per bar close. And this is a 24-hour change sort. So that's how you do that. All right, any questions on storage? Versus storage, hard J. Okay, any questions on day trading or altcoin alert overall? Markets, other coins to look at. Very well. Guys aren't as chatty as usual. So
I'll ask you a question, CJ.
okay.
Um, you trade quite a lot of the altcoins,
Yes.
um, like storage, and I think it stands for storage, and a whole lot of those. And I know you don't really care much about the coins, and
I do not.
as long as they are trading and performing or doing what you want them to do. But do you actually learn a little bit about the coins and and what they do and what they are? Does that have any influence in which coins you do trade?
I don't look for that proactively. I often, come upon it. I subscribe to email services. I like, Crypto Man Ran and Sniper Sheldon the Sniper and that group. So I subscribe to their newsletters and they talk about those things sometimes.
Hey, do they
So
still do that morning show? Because I watched it
I
recently and it wasn't them.
I I don't know. I don't
Crypto
watch the
Banter?
morning show,
Was
but I
it called Crypto
subscribe to the
Banter?
emails. Yeah, because the show's on so early for me. It's on at like 3 or 4 in the morning. So um but yeah, I do like that group for crypto information. They're more, swing traders than day traders, but it does address, what Craig asked me about. And to finish that question, I mentioned earlier that I did a spot trade on Solana. That was based on some news that we got from the CryptNation group, on Thursday, and I liked what they had to say about Solana, so I put in a swing trade. I'm in at 1970. It's up to $20 and change, so I'm up a little bit on that one, and I'm gonna actually I need to move it off Coinbase into my wallet and keep it there probably till the end of the year, give or take. Um, I'm not going to hold them forever, but I'm trying to become a better swing trader. That's a little a little outside the scope what I talk about in my Zoom calls, but in that scenario, if I'm looking for a swing trade to hold for a while, and definitely on a hodl, one to hold forever, then I'm very interested in what it does and in its use case. But for day trading, I don't care.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you for that. Any other questions? All right. Well, if you're watching on the recording, thank you for doing that. Hope to see you live next time. Check out the opportunities in the pinned comment. Help fund the station or the channel. And if you are a Carbon member, stick around. We'll talk about Carbon next. Thanks and have a good weekend.